They're showing me two different paths. You may resonate with one. I can't imagine you resonate with both simultaneously, but maybe you've teeter-tottered between the two. And it does feel like, yeah, it's all rooted in choice, right? It's rooted in choice. Those who may resonate with this channeling, it's like I'm seeing a path that's like red and I'm seeing a path that's like white, which is very fascinating to me. This week, for those who resonate with this particular channeling, because I do read for a lot of people, I channel for a lot of people, so take those messages as they resonate. If you feel like you've been on the red path, it's like interesting how that wants to be said. You may feel like you have been like on a really intense spiritual journey, or you've been in a really tense dark night, or doing a lot of shadow work, and this feels extensive. Months, years is kind of what I'm getting. But it's almost like you're recalibrating back to this like white path. And I don't say white path as in like purity. That's not how it feels. That's not how it feels. It feels like this choice to take the red path was a side quest. That's kind of how it feels. Feels like a voluntary side quest. And you're coming back, you're realigning to where you have found yourself previously. And so it may feel really weird as you're like, like recalibrating to the, that's how, and it feels choppy. It feels like that to snap back into place. Some of you have been walking the white path. It's like, I don't know how else to describe this, the white path. And so you may not experience what I'm going to describe for this second group here. Okay. Either way, the end result is the same. So when you find yourself in this place of like aligning to this present moment in time with this particular white path, I want a better term for it. It's really bugging me. But anyway, I want to encourage you to not like feel weird about it, because like, well, feel however you want to feel. First of all, feel however you want to feel about it. Because it just has this feeling of looking back and being like, oh, this didn't have to be this way. That's how it feels. Like reflecting and like, oh, I could have made different choices. I could have made better choices. That's a perception thing. Because taking the red path, I want to say, while it was choppier, while it was optional, while it was not easy, it gave you something that sticking with the path you were on couldn't provide you. Some of you may feel like this was taking a little bit of a path like through the underworld, so to speak, or like an initiation through darkness. Your darkness, some of you, an initiation through your personal shadow versus just like collective shadow. But the red, and like I'm wearing a lot of red today. And it was weird because it was like, I was actually, it's so funny. I was wearing a white shirt and I was like, I need to be in red for some reason. It's like, I think it's literally just to deliver this message for those who need to hear this. So funny. I did. I literally like threw on like my reddest shirt. I threw on some red lipstick. It was time. I feel like those of you who took this red path, it feels very south nodal, I want to say, very primal, very much like the depths of, I want to say the depths of like nature, primal nature, human nature, the animal, the shadow, right? That's how it feels. But like through that, you also have this, some of you have been battling a lot of fears along the way to come to this moment where maybe you actually feel very fearless, right? Having this moment this week of like, boom, like realigning to this like white path. Some of you, it is just coming out of a period of shadow integration and you're feeling very like whole and complete within the self. The finding card, the reason I love that this is out here, it's this feeling of being at home with the self, feeling belonging with the self. If you've been on this red path, you may have been battling a lot of feelings of not belonging or being out of place. Even if you have had those feelings before taking this red detour, it's helped you tremendously with that, even if it's amplified that feeling. Okay. Belonging is a theme this week for the collective. This is this feeling of belonging, um, whatever words you want to put there, because it's like belonging, yes. Finding where you fit, yes. Um, Finding where your particular essence, soul, your skills, your talents, your personal beliefs, your personal strengths, where that fits within certain relationships or even like with the collective at large. Um, Even if that means just like within a job or within your family, right? Or within your social group or within your neighborhood. Like it doesn't have to be grandiose, is what I'm getting at. These are just different ways this feeling of belonging can manifest. And both groups are feeling this. Both paths are taking you there. Some of you chose the red path. It might have been gnarly. It might have been hard, but you got there. You're getting there if you don't feel like that already. And if you took the white path, again, not to say that you missed out on anything, but it like think of a video game, right? If you take this optional side quest, you still come back to like where you were, right? There's still this like full circle experience you're having. You didn't miss anything, right? You just the only thing that you might have missed was just an opportunity for having a little bit more experience under your belt or having a little bit more advancements in certain skills or having like an extra tool here and there, right? Just equating it to a video game. Um, I just heard all paths lead home. It's very true. All paths lead home. Some you may feel like you're coming out of hermit mode. That's coming through as well. This is maybe how it may manifest for you, that you're coming out of hermit mode. And even with like the white and the red, it's like that red feels very like snake dragon-esque. And that's something that I was getting a lot when I was just tuning in before going live, just doing my notes. I was getting this acknowledgement, this very prominent energy of this like lineage of medicine. So if you're new and you're like, what are you talking about? Don't worry, I'm going to explain. um, this lineage of medicine of this is just from my belief and my observation. I'm not saying this is a hard universal rule of thumb in occult studies or anything like that. But in my journey, I've seen this connection between snakes and dragons and avians, and there's an evolutionary um energy there along that line, along that branch. And it really is just a branch of medicine represented by different animals, different beings, if you will, different archetypes, even different mythology that like connects the two. And I feel like that's something that, yeah, it's almost like a take this as it resonates and just listen to the message behind the first word that you're gonna hear. Okay. It's almost like the red path was a path of dissension. And it's not as if you descended. It's not that you regressed. And I want to make that very clear. It's almost like you were on the white path, like you were starting at this specific frequency. I don't know who needs to hear this. The specific frequency that is the white path. And I almost want to say avian like. And then you took the red path so you could actually integrate what came before. Okay. So you could integrate dragon, you could integrate snake. Now they're giving me more like primal medicines like scorpion, like ooh, centipedes are coming up. Interesting. I don't know. Those more primal underworld like shadowy like medicines to come back to avians. You see what I'm saying? It's like it's a full circle thing, which is kind of what shadow work is, right? Some of you, it's almost like you had to walk a path where you almost had to go back to the origins, back to the beginning to come back to where you are finding yourself now. And so coming back to this, what I'm feeling with this like moment of these two paths colliding again. Um, some of you may actually some of you may be seeing that, sensing that, feeling that in all kinds of ways. Maybe you're feeling drawn to go back to like a certain environment that you used to be at a lot when you like before you went into this red path, or certain interests, right? Certain interests that you maybe diverged from, then now you're realigning to them again, right? From back when you diverged into this path of dissension. Hold on. It was a choice for whoever needs to hear this. It was a choice, but I'm hearing maybe this is how you perceive it. It was a necessary choice. Um, some of you are perceiving it that way, that it was a necessary choice. Again, dissension, not in the way of like regression. It's not the same thing. It's the ebb and the flow. It's the moving around the spiral, right? Um, you discovered a lot on that path about yourself, about how things work, almost like you are thrown behind the curtain is almost how that feels. And throughout this, like being on the red path, you also may have felt very like out of space and time. Some of you may have been battling like disassociation, or you may have been very sensitive to like shifting of realities and timelines and things of that nature. Um, Yeah, something about that path feels very, like, volatile and unstable, but you were it's like, yeah, you were, like, thrown behind the curtain in this, like, in like, deep into the shadow, deep into the underworld, or through darkness, or again, just your own personal shadow, and now you're coming back. They keep reiterating it was a choice, but I feel like I'm feeling you, like, no, that had to happen. No, that had to go that way, that had to be done, and I think that's just how you feel about it, which is, like, that's fine. Um, yeah, and so where you're, like, realigning here, they keep wanting me to, like, sorry, there's so many things I want me to reiterate. You were not wrong in doing this. There may have been a lot of judgments from people around you of, like, what you were doing was wrong, or what you were doing was, like, out of left field or crazy. Everyone in this community has had that word thrown at them quite a bit, um, as we know. Um, you weren't, and I think deep down you knew that, and maybe anytime someone said that to you, even thank you, even in your darkest moments, even in your most confused moments, if anyone had said that to you, it's like you knew that wasn't right. You could feel the dissonance there. But that's because they couldn't understand, they didn't understand. For wow, this is a really big message, my god. Feels like it should be its own video. This side quest is not mhm, I see. This side quest is not offered to most people. Maybe that's why deep down in your soul, your essence, your soul is even saying through you, like, "No, it had to happen because it's a privilege." It was a privilege to go on an initiation of dissension. It was a privilege. Ooh, because not everyone could do that. Not everyone could go through that and come out the other side. Because thank you. Because the amount of faith it takes to do that. Some of you who are new in your awareness, is how that wants to be said, are being offered this now. Some of you are concluding this. Again, I channel for a lot of people. Okay. So I'm gonna say that again. And you'll know where you fit here. If you are new in your awareness, some of you are being offered this path now, and you feel it and you know it, and you may also be feeling it that same way of like, there really is no other choice. I need to do this. Um, and those of you who have been on this experience, you can feel this realignment happening. And again, I'm getting it, like equating it to like the hermit mode, because it's just they keep showing me the hermit card, and like that's also how it may feel. Like when you're on the red path, it may feel like you're off the board almost. Like you're off of the board of the awareness of other people who have been in your life. And again, if you're coming out of it and you're realigning here, um, it's like you're coming back on the board. It's very interesting. That's so interesting. God, I want this to be its own video. I kind of just wasn't attached to the weekly, but there's a reason that's happening. There's a reason that's happening. And even as you're coming off, again, it's like think of it like a mirror, right? What was going on in your life when you went on the red path, and what was going on in your life, and what's going on in your life now as you're coming off of it. There's some sort of mirroring or similarities that are coinciding at that same time. Some oh, thank you. The frustration. I feel like I'm being pulled into the main collective energy now. Excuse me. I feel like I'm being pulled back into the main collective energy of the week now. So we're gonna get there. But frustration is gonna be a thing this week for people on the red path. If you've been on the white path, you probably are not gonna be feeling this, or at least not as intensely. But that frustration, some of you guys may be feeling very frustrated at realigning because there's something about it that's like reflecting you back to the moment when you started this red path. Okay. Um, it just feels jarring and rattling because even the energy, the way it's trying to like align feels very crunchy and very volatile. It's like, it's weird. It almost like a magnet feeling. There's something you're resisting of thank you. There's something you're that's what it is. If you're feeling frustration about like sensing this of coming back, you are it's like it is like a magnet repulsion because you are resisting it for some reason. And I want to say whatever that resistance is, it's mirroring something back from when you first went on this path. that was uncomfortable or some thank you, that you were happy to get away from. That's what it is. Thank you. Oh my God, the messages today. We're going to come back to these other groups because it's different experiences for people just starting the red path versus people coming off and then people who are been on the white path. It's just how it's being said through me. Okay. Um, but yeah, if you are like realigning and you're coming back, um, if you're having any resistance or frustration, think back to when you first got on this path, what you were happy to get away from. Because that's what it is. It's like you went from the white path to the red path, and now you're coming back again, right? So, what were you happy to? I want to say escape. What were you happy to escape from the white path? That now you are like realigning. You're kind of being forced to embrace again, to align. Um, yeah. What is that? What is that? The quicker you can discern or identify what that is, the less frustration and crunchiness you're gonna experience. Um, this is also tying into the energy of the week because we do have some beautiful energy between um, Jupiter and Gemini, Chiron and Aries, with Eris and Aries, and Pallas and Cheroklo both in Aquarius together. Like that is such a beautiful little aspect dance that's happening. And we will get into it. I promise we will get there. But this is clearly a really important message that needs to come out. Um, all of that energy that I just described, Jupiter with Chiron, with Eris, with Pallas, with Cheroklo, with the Gemini and the Aries and the Aquarius, it's all that soul scar energy, but it's like nothing about it is hard. Nothing about it is crunchy. It all has like ease and openness and clarity and insight to it of like, oh, it's like, it's going to feel a little bit like that. Like, oh, that's what I can do with my experience. Oh, that's what I actually like, what feels right in my soul, the finding. That's what makes me feel like I belong to myself. This is like how I fit where I fit. This is my true flow, right? Whether you are just like trying to enjoy your life, or it has to do with relationships or personal goals or work or whatever. Um, yeah, it's just it's seeing it, it's finding it, and it is also the path of least resistance, but it is specifically in relation to your personal challenges, wounds and insecurities and fears. And yeah, any healing that comes with that obviously, but it's like it's also showing you other like options and pathways of how to experience yourself in a way that feels right in your soul and with ease. Make sure you remember that with ease. Went to a little astrology mode there, but let's come back to this like main channeling. I want to tune into those who are just getting on the red path. Yeah, I like every time I tune into it, it's like it's this feeling like I don't have a choice. But it feels actually I'm getting two things for that group. So if you're feeling like you're just entering the red path, it's interesting. It's like the verbiage here. One of like one collective of this group. I hope you guys are hanging there with me. You feel like you don't have a choice because it's just right. It's just right. It just is in alignment with where you're at right now and what you want right now. Because remember, this is a choice, but it is also a privilege. I think that's also why you see it that way and why you can't deny that. But it has this feeling of being pushed. So it's like I'm feeling one group within that collective of like feeling that push and being like, well, this is where we're going. And you see the opportunity of it. You see the potential benefit of it. So you're embracing it. But the second group that I'm feeling where it's like this path is just opening for you, you may actually experiencing it more like a dark night, like more like, why don't I have any control over my life right now? Why are things falling apart around me? Why can't I like just maintain XYZ in my life right now? Like it feels like that, that does happen in a dark night where things just kind of fall apart, like regardless of how much effort you're exerting. And so through just total like surrender to the process, you're like, yeah, I don't have a choice in this. I do want to emphasize though, that is a belief. I do want to emphasize that is a belief. It's not a bad belief because taking the red path is a gift. It's hard. It's hard as shit. It's like it's hard, but it is worth it. And it wouldn't be happening to you. It wouldn't be made available to you if spirit didn't think you could handle it. But thinking you don't have a choice, that is a belief. So I just want to put that out there. Can we focus on the white path? Not actually getting much of that. Maybe not many of you are here. They're showing me like this like aqua blue, like a very light teal kind of blue. So for those walking the white path, this is really interesting because like the way I've been feeling the white path, it feels like a path that is in alignment, right? It feels like something that feels right, but I'm getting that feeling of like something's missing for people who are identifying with never having strayed or diverged or descended. Again, descended is not um, regression. Okay. It's just going to these like depths of shadow and darkness and initiation through that. Um, yeah, I keep getting something missing with this white path group. And with that like that blue energy, it's like that to me just like screams the throat and the third eye. I feel like for those who identify with this white path who've never diverged, I feel like you have found your way to keep your footing, is how that's coming through. Like you've had your challenges, sure. And you've like every step of the way, you've calibrated, you've adapted, but it's like it's this feeling like something's missing. It's this feeling like something's missing. Some of you, this like red white path, I do want to say, like, some of you, it almost feels like two versions of self and then unifying, catching up with each other in some moment in time. That makes a lot of sense because for those who have like been walking the red path or who are just coming out of the red path, I keep getting this disassociation. I keep getting this feeling of like, yeah, disassociation or like disconnect a little bit, which would make sense if like it's like literally you are who am I talking to? Um, you can sense an aspect of self or version of self that's not where you were at. Ooh, jeez. You understand what I'm saying? Those who know. Okay, can we move beyond this message, please? I think that feels complete. Almost 30 minutes later. Um, that feels complete. That feels complete.